And I believe that was the first orchestral remix or orchestral cover. That's by Jason from 14 years ago on YouTube. And this is my review of Street Fighter 1994. Never saw the movie. I would see pictures of Jean Claude Van Damme. I remember seeing pictures of Raul Julia. And right around the time they started promoting this movie, Raul Julia had passed away. He had a life threatening illness. And I'm going to say this right now. I will defend Raul Julia's performance as M. Bison. Now, I do believe, learned recently in the last couple of years that Bison was actually supposed to be Balrog, but Mike Tyson had a problem with it, or his production company had a problem with it. So Bison was given to the dictator, and who was supposed to be Bison was Balrog. But anyway, what you're seeing there from left to right, I know Ming Na is Wen. Jean-Claude Van Damme is Guile. So there's from left to right, you got E Honda. You got, oh, let me see here. I don't know who that is in the back. I actually don't know who that is. There's Ken to the right of that guy. There's Cammy. In the back is Balrog. Way in the back is Zangief. Guile. There is Ming Na doing the famous jump. She does the laugh too as Chun-Li. And to her left is Ryu, and then, I don't know, some guy over there. Some important guy. I'm sure he is. Blanka's not there, but we'll get into Blanka in a moment. This movie didn't need to exist. Probably not. Now, right now, I am watching Assassin's Fist, and I'll give a review of that later. Liking Assassin's Fist a little bit more. But this was an action hero movie through and through. This was not. What was severely missing were tournament fights, okay? Now, you go by Mr. Tyrone Magnus, okay? He looked at the trailer or the teaser. I looked at the teaser for the 2026 movie, and it's not supposed to be goofy. Yeah, I agree, but there are some goofy moments. There are some chuckle goofy moments somewhere in Street Fighter games, but it's mostly serious. You know, Charlie dies, Guile's friend. You have all these characters now have their backstories, but it's about Caillou and Ren. Sorry, how did I do that? Ryu and Ken traveling around the world to fight in tournaments to be the best fighters they can be. And that's what Assassin's Fist is. But this movie is about two guys who wander. You could probably see this as the sequel to Assassin's Fist. Now, I could have sworn I saw a live action thing of Ryu and Ken doing their moves, and it was on black stage in a black room, like a sound stage. But this was done in the late '90s, and it was out of the corner of my eye. I saw on a cathode ray tube television. Right, keep in mind, because not many people had HD TVs back then. It was at a Comic Con. I saw that, and I said, "What is that? Is this just a demo? Is this a fan film? What is that?" If anybody knows in the comment section, please answer if anybody knows what that was. Because it's basically Ryu and Ken and some others, and they were doing their moves. And I don't know if it was a fan film with character development or if it was just like a little movie that some people made. But this was right a year or two after this movie, after the 94 movie. So let's focus on this. So you have Vega. Dawson came in at the last minute and didn't do much. Blanka didn't do shit, really. He just did it. He just, did one or two things. Zangief, but not much. So, like, these guys do not do their moves until, like, at the end of the movie. There's a tournament that was supposed to happen with Vega, but a tank rolls in. Guile has the dumbest accent, but of course Jean-Claude has the dumbest accent. I don't know what Jean-Claude is doing these days, defying directors' visions. I don't know. So it doesn't bother me in this reality. It doesn't bother me that E. Honda and Balrog are television reporters, and Chun-Li's a television reporter, so they all kind of know each other. I'm sure their backstory is way different, but it doesn't bother me that Cammy and Guile work together. I think they are supposed to work together, right? It doesn't bother me. Ryu and Ken are supposed to be buddies anyway, but they get mixed up with Sagat. And They got just about everybody they could possibly get. T Hawk was allegedly was in this movie. Is that T Hawk? This guy here that my fingers covering? Is that T Hawk? T Hawk was supposedly in this movie. I blinked and missed him. I don't know what that was about. Uh, E Honda did not show off his crazy moves. I don't think Zangief did either. Balrog just punches. What does he have to do, right? So I don't know. Like the thing that I mean, it's not the actor's job. It's not the talent's job to know what these games were or what the lore was. That's more on the director and the writer. Um, DJ was in it, and so DJ and Zangief worked for Bison. Bison, I mean, Raul Julia's performance was so. Oh, he had the best. He had the best Bison outfit. I mean, he was Bison. It's hard to replace that man. Like, he just. You would have to pay Raul Julia money not to star in Wednesday. I think if he was alive today, he would have been on Wednesday with Christina Ricci and Christopher Lloyd. He would have played like he would have played one of the sages that has the last piece of the puzzle that Wednesday has to go to, and she goes to some faraway mansion, and you see this old man that looks like Lemony Snicket. It looks like somebody with makeup on, but it's like, oh, it's Raul Julia. Oh, you know. So today he would have been on Wednesday. He really would have, because I mean that's how supportive people would be of other people, other generations. And there's a couple of lines in this movie in the Street Fighter '94, and basically the plot is that for those of you who've never seen the movie, is that M Bison runs a country, the Shadow Lu, right? And he's a terrorist. He demands $2 billion. It's a stupid plot, but Guile and his army, U.S. Army forces get in there with Cammy and Caillou and Ren, Ryu and Ken get like mixed up with Sagat and Vega and organized crime. So they're prisoners under Guile's watch. They set up a fake Guile gets killed kind of thing. So, um, so there's one thing leads to another. Everybody knows everybody else. So you got Chun Li, who's got a vendetta because her father was killed by M. Bison and his forces of Shadow Lu. And the best line I could remember was, well, when I came to your village, that was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. Greatest line in that movie. The second greatest line was when Ken said to Sagat, if I had never met you, I would have become you. Another great line. So most of the movie takes place in Shadowloo. You have the tournaments, you have the tanks, and you have Bison's fortress, his base of operations, his computer room. You have the scientists. You have the green and orange. What is it? Plasma to turn Charlie into Blanca, who does not really a damn thing. Okay. So Blanca was poorly used, as well as Dalsum. Dalsum shows up on a fucking. For some reason, the scientist who works on Blanca is bald, but it's like, I don't know. And Dalsum does. I mean, most of those characters do return for the 2026 movie with Jason Momoa. I think it's Blanca. Oh my god, is this movie going to be dog shit? Who knows? But I think that. Did this movie need to exist? Well, I guess so. I guess this movie needed to exist. The anime's better, and yes, you can watch the anime with Japanese dub, English sub, which is what Tyrone Magnus would recommend, and I would recommend. There's different anime. There was the American series, but they say that the anime is better. But here's the thing, though. I think we're coddled too much by saying that the anime is always better, as though we can't possibly adapt to live action. And because these are not anthropomorphic animals or fantastic creatures, yet somebody's got to try. These are human beings, and we're human beings, and we kind of sort of look like these people in the photo. So somebody's going to try to adapt it to live action, but how should it be done? Who should do that, right? I mean, you go back to Enter the Dragon, right, with Bruce Lee, the Bruce Lee movies, and how was that done? And yeah, so this movie was, I liked it. It was a guilty pleasure, but I did enjoy this movie. I did not hate it. Raul Julia, I will defend on a hill that was the best M. Bison. He was over the top. He did everything he wanted to do. He did it for his kids. And he's one of those few actors whose last role was a great role. And I think that should be admired. So for this, let's give a score for Street Fighter 1994 with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Which one? This one? This over here? I will say I'm going to give it a 3.5. I don't like Jean-Claude's performance is kind of weak. The whole Guile thing was weak. We could have got somebody else. It was about the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I think that was his like last greatest movie. He had Universal Soldier, but there wasn't a lot of fighting. It was at the very end. I mean, they had to do something. They had to fulfill their obligations and keep it a Street Fighter movie, but they don't fight in the streets, do they? They don't really fight in the streets. But there you go. So 3.5 out of 5. And I'll give you a short review of another thing I saw on Netflix. It's the sequel to some other reviews I did. Stay tuned for that.